Okay, welcome everyone. Very happy to have you all here. And we want to welcome you to our masterclass, the operating system in action, which will be all about scaling across Europe with marketplaces and own web shops. I'm your host, Volker Bergner. I look after commercial and logistics for ZEOS, and I'm joined by Jonas Hense, Growth Director at SCAYLE, and Stefan Röttger, VP Sales and Growth at Tradebyte. Today on the main stage, we heard a lot about how diversification unlocks growth opportunities. Diversification across geographies, customer segments, channels, and audiences. But I'm sure all of us know that every opportunity also often adds complexity, which means in the end higher cost and a challenge to the bottom line. And that's also why we're so excited about this partnership with the three companies now working much more closely together to reduce complexity and help you with unification to optimize your profitability in your direct-to-consumer online business. Let's have a look at the two pillars that underpin the direct-to-consumer business and understand the opportunities and challenges, which are each unique to the two different opportunities. On the one hand side, there's the own e-commerce, which offers a core benefit of control. As a merchant, as a brand, you can control the customer experience, you control the data, and also you control how you present your product. On the other hand, you also have to make investments to ensure that the customer experience that you design is delivered end-to-end. Ensure that you have the right technology that's not just fit for purpose for today, but also can adapt in an agile way to new trends that we're seeing accelerating every day. And also you need to invest in inspiration and entertainment, which is becoming more and more relevant for shoppers. On the other hand, the core benefit of marketplaces is the reach that it can add to your brand. You can meet existing customers where they prefer to shop. You can be discovered by new customers. And also, you can target niche audiences in different geographies, across the funnel, and in different segments. And each of these opportunities provide a different trade-off. And as a brand, your challenge is to tap into each of these opportunities while managing the challenges. And for that, you need the right partners. And we're very excited that we can only contribute now as individual companies, but also contribute more to the ecosystem that we're building. And today we're presenting as individual companies, and we contribute as individual companies, and we'll continue to do so. So with SCAYLE, you can leverage About You's leading-edge technology to power a best-in-class webshop for your own e-commerce. With Tradebyte, you can integrate with close to 100 marketplaces across the world, mostly in Europe, and also manage your marketplace business. And with ZEOS, you have the operational foundation to drive your fulfillment in the most efficient way. And each of our companies brings different expertise in this environment to the table, and we're now bringing more and more expertise together in one ecosystem. Our short-term priority is to drive more integration, to take out cost of complexity, cost of integration, so that you have an out-of-the-box solution. And at the same time, we're building towards a broader ecosystem that remains fully modular so that you can still use the integrator, the shop system, and logistics provider that you prefer. But before we go into a bit more of the ecosystem, we'd like to share a bit what we can deliver individually to you now. And we'll start with SCAYLE. The stage is yours, Jonas.
Thank you, Volker. Hi, I'm Jonas, and I have the pleasure to provide you with a brief introduction to SCAYLE. I will start with a very brief look on our history, then look at the challenges that we see in the market and how we are actually, as a company, trying to solve these challenges for you. In order to understand scale, it's very important to understand our history. So about 10 years ago, the founders of About You, when they were founding About You, looked at the market for shop technology, and what they saw wasn't very happy, wasn't very satisfying for them. So the technologies out there in the market didn't satisfy their needs. And instead of licensing a Salesforce or SAP, they instead decided to build their own shop technology, which is now Scale. That technology proved to be so great, so successful, that they decided to productize it and make it available to the wider market. And these days, now there is many brands and retailers who are actually using Scale as their shop technology. So for example, the S. Oliver Group, the Deichmann Group, Odlo, Tom Taylor, etc., etc., etc. And this year, as you all know, Scale, as part of the About You and Zalando merger, got bought by Zalando. So what does that actually mean? Scale, as a company, has a very, very strong retail DNA given our history. And we have been in the market for more than 10 years. So through our customers, we know the pains of growing, we know the pains of being profitable, and we understand the challenges that are out there. Having a look at these challenges and how we are trying to solve that. So number one, obviously the ambition to grow, but grow profitably. Second, the challenge to reach the customer at any point, at any time, in any channel. And thirdly, the challenge to have a technology that is flexible, that is agile in order to react to new trends and embrace these new trends. And how we as Scale respond to that is an approach that we called unified and composable. Why unified and composable? Unified because we bring a lot of features out of the box, and at the same time, we remain very composable, meaning flexible in order to allow for your differentiation. Let's look at that in a bit more detail. So what you basically see here, everything that is in green are features that we as Scale provide out of the box. So you have a shop management, which is made for internationalization, localization. You have a checkout, highly configurable. You have a PIM, you have an OMS. You can even become a marketplace or implement omni-channel models with us. And this whole backend from Scale is then embedded in a API-first headless architecture. Meaning from one backend, from the Scale backend, you can steer multiple storefronts, web storefronts, apps, social commerce, and obviously also marketplaces powered through Tradebyte, for example. And in the backend, you have a lot of exchange of data, obviously with the ERP, the logistics integration, etc., etc., etc. So what's actually the great advantage or the advantages of this architecture? Number one, you have a lot out of the box, meaning less integration and less maintenance effort on your side. Number two, all of these green features are provided in one panel, meaning the shop user has maximum efficiency because he or she doesn't need to log in to the promotion, to the search, to the shop, to the PIM anymore, but it is one panel, all within one login. And then lastly, because we cover your backend, you as a customer can actually focus on creating inspiring and unique front-end experiences which satisfy the needs of your customers. What's very important to note is this product, Scale, is made by fashion and made for fashion and lifestyle. 90% of our customers approximately are in this segment. And if you look at the features that we bring along, it is really made for this segment. 3-tier product data model, localization at its best, product promotions which can be individualized for private discounts, etc., all of this. And the great news about this product is, I think that Scale is already very modern, state-of-the-art shop technology, but it will get even better. With the Zalando merger, there's clearly two benefits that we will experience in the short term. Number one, Zalando obviously being a powerhouse with extreme financial power and the sheer amount of dev resources, which will also power the Scale roadmap. And on the other hand, something that Tarek mentioned earlier as well, now with Zalando next to About You, we have two retailers who can actually test and experience features which are out there in the market, new trends, and they can test it real world at scale. Meaning things like the 3D content that you saw earlier or the virtual try-on are things that have been proven successful at Zalando and are now being implemented at the Scale product and exclusively made available for our Scale customers. And what we as Scale have been seeing in the market is that there's a lot of great tech out there, but very often it's not fully utilized. So instead of just giving you a product, we decided we want to provide a distinct partnership, meaning all the expertise that we have in-house with About You and with Zalando, whether it is agentic SEO, whether it is TikTok, whether it is shipping costs, we want to provide this expertise in order to help our customers grow next to a nice technology. And lastly, to finish off, we heard a lot of people talking about inspiration and differentiation today on the main stage. And for us at Scale, we are a shop technology which is challenged daily and shaped daily through Europe's largest fashion and lifestyle retailers. We believe that we want to cover your backend in order to enable your differentiation in the front end. And with that, I'm handing over to Stefan to understand how you are helping your customers.
Thank you, Jonas. So, hi, Stefan, leading at Tradebyte the commercial teams. And yeah, many of you might know us. We are an integrator focused on the fashion and lifestyle brands. Yes, we are also deeply integrated in Zalando, but also ZEOS. We're also a bit on a mission. This year also marks the start of a new journey, of a new era for us. And we call it internally, but we are combining integration and steering. And let me tell you a bit on the next slides what we mean with that. Volker mentioned already, marketplaces do provide one thing, it's reach, it's access to customer. And just bringing in numbers is roughly 60% of total e-commerce GMV in Europe next year should be transacted on marketplaces. And just looking at fashion now, we count around about 90 relevant marketplaces. 90 because they're everywhere. Think about the absolute international key players such as Zalando, About You, ASOS, they all come with a marketplace model. If you go further, think about specialists in the area of sports like a Decathlon, in the area of premium like a Bräuninger. Think about also kids in the area of Mango, for instance. Even off-price and flash sale, everything can be utilized as a marketplace. Going further, also looking at this landscape now here, there are local heroes that have a totally new customer group that you can address. Think about Poland and Allegro, Netherlands and Bol. So there are many, many opportunities. And last but not least, of course, the everything stores like an Amazon. And finally, also social commerce with TikTok. So you see it's massive opportunities around there. And as I said, I think it's also something that will further grow. Just looking at the one other strategy, be it from Zalando, but also from About You, that is now finally opening up a real marketplace where more or less every brand that is somewhere out of the fashion industry can connect to. On the other side, of course, it also comes with challenges, technical requirements. And this is also the reason why at the one point somebody said, okay, let's found Tradebyte. And then in 2016, Zalando said, well, let's buy these guys. But it's also, of course, a non-consistent business model. Yes, there are B2B models out there are B2C models out there. There's a classical marketplace where you compete on the EN level. And last but not least, of course, it's high competition. I mean, just look here around. There are many, many brands already jumping on this train and luckily also more and more coming up. So to overcome these challenges, there's of course something that the brand usually requires. And we are super proud that we can be somewhere the bridge between the brand side and the retailer side. So we are helping these brands, these marketplaces, a bit not the best coloring, to be honest, on this slide for the back. But we are kind of connecting the brand side and the retailer side, helping them to connect, but also making them successful. And what is super important for us is that a pure connection is not everything. Yes, there has been certain times, also when I joined 10 years ago at Tradebyte, you've just been throwing everything on a marketplace. And this somehow went, it worked out if you were quick. But luckily, the time has changed. And nowadays, really, especially also due to the complexity we've shown, you need to be really great on several levels. And this is a bit of a Tradebyte deep dive, how we look at the marketplace itself, kind of differentiating 5 different levels. It starts all with a scalable setup, which means, of course, in our case, access to the right marketplaces. Not all, but really making sure that you have access to the right marketplaces. We have 90 at the moment, but we also have first now integrations into the online shops. That means out of our system, you can connect into a Shopify shop, you can also connect your Scale shop, but really make sure that you have one system that can control all your sales channels. But it also means being fully integrated in your ERP, in OMS systems, whatever, and monitor these interfaces to make sure that you can always on trade. And second, it's about availability and delivery. Of course, you need to be able to deliver based on the best customer experience. We've heard about this. And for us, this means a deep integration, especially into ZEOS, that helps a brand to really trade multi-channel. Because also there, especially for us, it's so important that a brand is able to diversify their sales portfolio. But it also makes sure to be able to really say, when should an article be live? And also there, I think there's nothing worse than dropping an article first on a certain platform before maybe launching it on your own online shop. And this requires technology that also can prevent this. And this is, for instance, what we've been innovating together with Zalando and a sports brand to really make sure that your articles go live on a certain date, that also your marketing campaign matches this. The third part is price management. And of course, we also all want to sell at the highest possible price. But of course, looking at wholesale, looking at different sales periods, it is clear that especially for kind of a 50-40% of your assortment, you need to run very individual pricing strategies. For this, we've built an ecosystem with players, especially out of the German region, like in 7 Learning, so Explain, that helps brand to create a price management that is based on AI. I think Heist Baiti just said, content is not king anymore, story is king. On the marketplace side, of course, it used to be so different. Content has always been a bit of a duty. You needed to fulfill a certain level of requirements to go live on a marketplace. Luckily, this is shifting now. There are more high-value attributes that are required by a brand to really make sure that you're also visible. On top, we are now also able to launch videos on the marketplace. And you've heard about the GMV boost, 4% I think it was, right? So we have now finally also the capability of bringing video content live on the marketplace so that you have really absolute feature parity also looking at a wholesale article. And last but not least, retail media. And this is also how you should read this pyramid a bit. For the top articles, you need to invest. You need to invest into retail media to really make sure that your articles are visible. And this is an area we can really drive profitability and really drive sales. And this is also why we have developed a feature and a service that helps brands to really steer this together with us. So 5 different levels, high complexity, though we've also asked ourselves, is it really enough? And as I said, we are starting a new era for us this year. And of course, the answer needs to be, no, it's not enough. We're zooming in, and we call this TB360. So TB360 is our new product that helps brands to actually extend their capabilities together with us, from a pure integration to really an integration that also is combined with a steering module. And looking at this round, I know many of you trade on multiple marketplaces. Maybe I find the 5% of the customers who said these are not your pain points, because I'm pretty sure they are. It is a highly fragmented market, different data points, different data sets, no multi-channel view. And this is actually also what we now aim to solve, where we're fully committed to work in this direction. And this is a bit the value proposition there. We've launched this year an insights module, which helps brands to get maximum visibility on your articles, where they stand, are they live, yes or no, but also what are the top categories that you're currently selling, and also benchmarking these categories versus your peers. We won't compare you towards the consumer electronics brands because we don't work with these consumer electronics brands. We work with fashion brands, which gives us a massive data pool that we can unlock to help you also understand how's your business going. And on top, this is kind of the next step we're now starting, which we aim to launch next year, is also giving you smart recommendations what to do. This is for us the next step because it really helps you not to only be live, but really make sure you understand the market, you understand your performance. So summing it up, yes, Tradebyte is an integrator specialized in fashion and lifestyle brands. And yes, Tradebyte is deeply integrated in ZEOS, in Zalando, and also now into SCAYLE. But yes, we're also committed to further drive this, not only be your partner to connect you to a marketplace, but really make you successful. And with that, handing over back to you.
Thank you, Stefan. And just a quick refresher on ZEOS. ZEOS is the B2B arm of Zalando, and we're on a mission to externalize the capabilities that Zalando built and also create new capabilities to help brands be successful across Europe. And while we're relatively new, we're built on all the experience and learnings that Zalando made in creating loyal and happy customers. It meant figuring out which were the locally relevant carriers, what are the best return options, understanding what delivery preferences and delivery times and return policies shape customer behavior across the 50 million customer base that Zalando has, and also really understanding down to the level of what different means of packaging mean for customer happiness and loyalty. And just to illustrate that this is much more than moving boxes from A to B. It's really driving the efficiency of your acquisition model. On own e-commerce, There's a lot of expectations around the delivery times, about the convenience experience that have been shaped by global players. Zalando might have played a role in that, and that customers just have come to expect. And research that we've done together with McKinsey suggests that if there's a failure and a disappointment on the first order, the likelihood of churn is higher than 70%, meaning that customer acquisition costs completely go out of control unless the convenience expectations of customers are met. And similarly, on marketplaces try to protect the experience they like to provide to their customers by enforcing strict SLAs. And if these SLAs are met, often there's penalties in terms of lower visibility, down ranking. And we've seen from our experience, there's at least double-digit loss in traffic and sales opportunities if there's downsorting and loss of visibility, and sometimes even up to 50%. So it's absolutely critical that logistics underpins an efficient acquisition and loyalty engine. But in the end, there's many ideas that I think we all have around how to make a more convenient, a more reliable experience. But at the same time, we also need to answer the question, what is the right balance between pushing harder on convenience while being mindful of the cost and the complexity it entails? So we also see our job as helping you understand how to balance convenience and profitability on your own e-commerce and across marketplaces at ZEOS. And how do we do that? Well, first of all, on the physical side, with a lot of scale, not with the AY version, with physical scale. So building the largest fulfillment network across Europe that specializes in fashion and lifestyle, that allows us to bring product very close to the customer and be very efficient in deliveries to our customers. But then we need to connect that network to ensure that while product might not be sitting in the same physical location, it still becomes a connected stock pool so that it can access demand and that it's not sitting in segregated stock pools, where sometimes in one stock pool you might have enough demand and you're out of stock, and in other stock pools you're overstocked because there isn't enough demand. And we know that that's one of the fundamental challenges in our industry. And we address that primarily through technology, initially more on the foundational layer around how to distribute stock, how to do order orchestration, leveraging different parts of the network, including also brands' own logistics network, if that's a preference and useful. And now we're increasingly moving towards more advanced capabilities around ring fencing, helping brands to be able to prioritize product for different sales channels across the season, across the product lifecycle, to ensure you get maximum ROI of the capital that you invest in your stock. We're also working on more advanced solutions like a virtual bonded warehouse to optimize cash flow and to optimize customs duties in some of the custom markets that still exist in Europe. And also leveraging AI with our replenishment engine, where we help brands to determine at what point in time to replenish how much to the ZEOS network. So we achieve a perfect balance between convenience, ensuring promises are met, and also the speed requirements are in line with what customers expect. And what we've learned is a Zalando-grade experience that works across the European market, and we cover 85% of the market already. And we generally see with customers on average, we're able to reduce transit times by 25%, through increasing speed and ensuring customers are happy, but also protecting profitability by reducing duplicate shipments, ensuring the demand opportunity is maximized with one stock pool, and also ensuring that products that might have gotten a scuff on returns are refurbished and brought back to a good condition. But we're not done yet, and there's more to come. We're very excited about some of the things that are in flight and that we'll be able to bring to market and to the benefit of our brand partners very soon. So first of all, we'll be launching new services, particularly to round off our portfolio and ensuring that also all our returns and shipping solutions can also be leveraged in a multi-channel environment. Ensuring bringing size flags as an externalized capability to reduce return rates. Launching new markets to create more opportunity on the About You platform, on the Zalando platform, for your own e-commerce, and also unlocking an additional customs market in Norway. And also on the channel side, we're never done. There's always a more interesting channel to add, and we're also very excited to bring a series of channels to the benefit of our brand partners very soon. So that's where we contribute from the ZEOS side, but we also like to share in practice how it can work across the ecosystem of our 3 brands.
Exactly. And that's why we picked one of our customers, DevShop. For those of you who don't know DevShop, DevShop is owned by TB International. It's an international retailer who is basically selling streetwear and hip-hop. And at SCAYLE, we're lucky enough to be allowed to power 16 country shops of DevShop, all localized and all steered through one backend. And yeah, DevShop is basically using the full width of our features. What I like the most is how they leverage our promotion engine in order to discount and steer the discounts of their top sellers. Stefan, how are you using?
Absolutely. Jonas, you mentioned DevShop is a SCAYLE-powered online shop. TB International is one of our partners that is available on different marketplaces already. It means we have already a good coverage. Thanks to this integration now from Tradebyte into SCAYLE, we've also empowered them to not only sell on the marketplaces, but also on another sales channel, in this case, their partner DevShop. That means we've also, in 3 countries already, launched in 4 months, in TB International with their assortment, utilizing the ZEOS pool to feature it then to the end consumer.
Yeah, and from the ZEOS side, first of all, we were able to unlock 40 different carrier contracts immediately with one integration. To date, it's one of our fastest integrations with just 4 months, and we're still working on accelerating that with every integration that we do. And overall, together, we were able to provide meaningful improvements in how stock is productive, ensuring that we maximize the opportunity of the one stock pool and also in leverage order orchestration and ring fencing rules to make sure that items don't travel alone together in one shipment, which reduces cost, which is great to the bottom line, reduces parcel, which is great for the planet, and also customers generally like getting their orders just in one box. So that's what we've been able to bring to DevShop. But there's also more to come. We talked about the things that we want to bring individually as individual companies, but there's also a very ambitious short-term roadmap, which we like to share with you, where we're bringing more and more and contributing more and more to the joint ecosystem.
Exactly. And obviously, I think the thing that in the short term our customers will benefit from the most is the very deep integration between ZEOS, SCAYLE, and Tradebyte. That integration means there is no maintenance, no integration effort on our customer side anymore. So really a reduction of IT expenses. And then what personally excites me the most is actually the fact that in the future you will not only have the own e-com data in the SCAYLE panel, but also immediately next to it in the same panel, all the data which Tradebyte is providing from the marketplaces. So that is only short term, but when we think about long term, when you put a smart AI agent on top of this data and provides you with nice recommendations how to steer your assortment, I think this becomes very, very powerful.
Absolutely. I think it's all about reducing complexity, but also giving brands the flexibility, right? In our case, it means if you're already a Tradebyte brand, you can even connect your Shopify shop already, but also in the future a SCAYLE shop. That means you can really use Tradebyte as the central tool for all your digital sales channels. But also, especially for the brands that are already working with us, there's another big topic that I'm also super interested in. It means also looking ahead, we are already, of course, connected to SCAYLE, looking at About You. We can also further extend this in the future, meaning if SCAYLE wins a retailer or an online shop that wants to become a marketplace, then we have more or less hopefully a plug-and-play integration into these marketplaces, which helps us as well to kind of increase our marketplace portfolio moving forward.
And on the ZEOS side, we're deepening our technical integration to the same level of depth that we already enjoy with Tradebyte, now also with SCAYLE. in order to, number one, bring more real-time stock information between the systems to avoid stockouts and customers being unhappy because suddenly something is not available, although we thought it was available. And also bringing more advanced ring fencing capabilities directly to scale. And finally, we're also working and delivering a check-in, check-out plugin so that the different delivery estimates, delivery options can be provided out of the box on the Scale platform if you're using ZEOS, so that there's no additional integration and engineering work needed. So that's what we wanted to share. Thank you very much for your time, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, in case anybody does have a question, just raise your hand and I'll give you a microphone. Oh, yes.
Hi, guys. A quick question. So my company is directly integrated for partner program, API, and one of the things that we are exploring is Tradebyte, right? Is there any way that we can leverage the already integration that we have with Zalando to use Tradebyte elsewhere?
Good point. What we often have, of course, is kind of a migration from somebody to us, for instance, which could be another integrator or a direct integration. So that means once you're connected to Zalando already, we can migrate you by kind of backfilling the articles that are already there. That means these articles that are already existing on the Zalando platform don't need to kind of fully be transmitted again. And then at a second step, we can also launch an incremental article. So yes, if you're already prepared of selling on Zalando, then there's a huge opportunity you can leverage a lot. And just also bringing this in numbers, we've just had a migration in 30 days. So I mean, not so many IT people here, but usually migration is always I don't want it, but it's something that we can do because there's a certain, on the one hand, proof of concept, and secondly, it's also a lot of data exists already, which makes it significantly easier. But we should catch up afterwards, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you.